important question. Ready or Benverly?
Ready.
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 Correct answer.
That seems to be what the people want.
True.
Yeah, but I vote ready as well.
Hello, happy IT musical anniversary. The day this video is being posted, October 5th, is the 1-year anniversary of opening night of the Rockwell IT musical, which if you've been around my channel for a while, I have a couple videos on this musical, and I thought to celebrate the anniversary of the musical, I would get in touch with the cast and crew and sort of ask them some questions, see how they're doing a year after the success of the musical. And so yeah, roll those clips.
So, hello, welcome. Would you all like to introduce yourselves and who you played in the show or what your role was in the show?
I'm Gwen Hollander, and I played Beverly Marsh in the musical.
Hi, Gwen.
Oh, hi.
Hi.
Hello, I'm Lana McKissick, and I played Eddie Casbrick.
And who is your lovely guest behind you?
This is Bear's dog father. This is Bear. She played Bear.
Wow. Performance of a lifetime. Where was the Tony?
Thank you so much.
I am Nathan Moore, and I was the director of the IT.
Yeah. My name is Trevin Goen, and I played Ben.
That's right. That's right.
I'm John Flynn, and I was the writer.
I'm E.K. Dagenfield, and I played Richie.
Howdy, y'all. Janaea here, and I played Stan and Henri and some other folks, and the sheep.
And the red balloon.
And your balloon.
Oh, and the red balloon, can't forget.
It's the best part.
I'm Sterling, and I played Bill.
There it is.
Wow. Bravo.
What's up? My name is Pablo, and I was a producer on the show, and I also went on for Ben a couple times.
Hello, my name is Aaron Crawford, and I played the Old Spice guy. No,
that's right.
I played Mike Hanlon.
Only true IT fans will understand that reference.
What'd you do off stage, man?
Hanlon. Like a bunch of sheep.
Oh, yeah. Mike X Sheep is my favorite ship. I don't know about you guys.
Oh my gosh.
Didn't jump right into it. How fast did you guys put this show together? Because IT Chapter 2 came out like the beginning of September, so how did that go?
Yeah.
I think that EK and John should start with Pablo because they were there at the beginning of the process.
So Pablo and I were tasked with producing the next parody. We were just finishing up League of Their Own, and we were tasked with producing the next parody, and we knew that we wanted John to write it, but we didn't know. We had some sort of loose ideas of what show we wanted to do. We had talked about it a bunch, but there were other things maybe in the mix. And so we met with John, and we sort of had a big discussion, and we talked about it, and John is an exceptional and very fast writer, and so he was like, okay, we'll do the first half is going to be the first movie, and the second half is going to be the one that has not come out yet. And so he had put together the first act that we had and songs, and that's when Nathan kind of came in and Greg, and we talked about the songs and stuff. And then when the movie came out, I believe John and I attended the same showing, and then John went home straight away and started writing. And that was I think we started meeting about it in August, and we probably had auditions. Nathan, do you remember? Pablo, do you remember? Anybody?
The end of August.
What was the weekend that It 2 came out?
Yeah, it was the end of September.
Because that Monday, Tuesday, possibly Wednesday, we had auditions. Thursday night, we saw It Chapter 2, and the following Monday was our first read-through. Because I remember I had Thursday night till Monday morning to write Act 2.
That's insane.
Crazy. That's
It
crazy.
came out September 6th, 2019, which means that our first rehearsal was probably that Monday, so September 10th or something, and then we opened the last weekend. So the writing process, I guess, started in August. The rehearsal process started the second week of September. And then we opened for previews a year ago last week, and we did a week of previews, or did we do 2 weeks? 1 week.
Just one.
So yeah, it was a real roller coaster. John, Pablo, anything? Nathan?
I would say that once John had done his work, which was great and fantastic, and all credit to him to getting us to a point to where we could actually cast the show, because once we had cast the show, we only rehearsed for 2.5 weeks before we were in front of an audience. So they had to do a tremendous amount of learning and work in that 2 weeks for us to be able to do it. And so great job, John. And
great job, everybody. I think we had, if I recall, Act 2 was like roughly figured out. Half of it was there, but it was based on the miniseries. And then after the movie, we were like, oh, these scenes don't work anymore. These don't happen, because we were focusing more on the movie. So, you know, it wasn't like there was no Act 2. And then 3 days later, I had something. There was like some stuff idea and some like ideas of probably what songs we would want to use. But but the actual rehearsal process was like 2.5 weeks.
Wow, that's crazy. That's like such a short amount of time. So, what were each of your favorite numbers in the show, whether to perform or just in general? Like, which was your favorite? Like,
Bohemian Rhapsody, I would say.
Yeah, the very beginning of Bohemian Rhapsody, when we got to hit that harmony together. I think
that was fun.
So cool to see the audience react to that every time.
That's the thing, is the harmony is so satisfying to sing, but also just that you get, is this the real life? And the audience went crazy. And it was like, it was a guaranteed great moment. Yeah. Like no matter what the audience had been doing up until that point, you knew that was going to hit. So I like that the most.
Me too.
I think my favorite was That's What Friends Are For.
That too.
Just that whole scene, how absolutely ridiculous it was, but all of us that was one of the few times that I feel like we were all up there together. But yeah, just watching Sterling full sweat.
Oh man.
Being like, take this Sharpie knife. Which one, Lana?
Like, the Britney mashup was really fun to do.
Oh yeah.
Like, just an insane amount of energy. I feel like I was giddy and high by the end of it, because it was just nonstop running and dancing and running and sweating, and it was
getting into a spider mechanic.
Yeah, the spider was great.
oh no.
I think mine was sort of Boys of Summer reprise when Stan kills himself.
Spoiler.
Oh my god.
One, I love a number I'm not in. 2, Janae, I don't know, like Janae killed it every night, like the whale. Great. I always look forward to it.
DK, I also loved your solo in Just Give Me a Reason.
Oh, did
Welcome.
You should know that became a vocal warm-up for all of us.
Welcome, please.
Welcome, please.
The original one was so high. You're like, I don't remember this from the It musical. Like, what is this?
Yeah.
Boy.
But no, that part sent me every night. Aaron and I think we were behind the what is the big couch called?
Banquet.
Yes, the banquet. We were behind the banquet, and we were just like on the Rockwell floor laughing, and then we had to go make out a sheet.
And I had my arms like around Trevin, or his arms were around me, and we were just constantly grabbing each other.
True.
I liked Any Way We Want It too. That was really fun. The rock floor and all the dancing. That was fun.
Honestly, they were all fun. There was no that I was like, oh, now we got to do this.
Oh, not this again.
Well, there was that one number, but.
Well, yeah, sure.
We're not going to talk about that.
Story of my life. Because you guys hated each other.
I think one of my favorite numbers to watch every night was Believer, just because of the energy coming off of the stage, the energy that like coming out of Act 2, you have like random crazy number that happens, the Taylor Swift number, and then like we're back into plot, but like Believer is that transition that gets us back into that world, and it always like no matter the audience, no matter the night, like their response didn't matter. It was always like they were back right there with us as soon as we got to that in the second act.
Yeah.
Yeah.
stellar Nathan
Also,
Moore choreography
I
as
was
well.
never going to remember the lines.
Our favorite song.
The gamble. If I was going to remember the words to that song, was a gamble every day.
Everybody get your
Same.
shit.
Same, Aaron,
I had to
same.
memorize it every day.
Well, going off of that question, were there any like songs or numbers that didn't make it into the show? Like either ones you talked about or like started to put together or like
The finale changed a few times.
Prince. That was going to be Prince, wasn't there?
Oh yeah, the finale, but the final battle with Pennywise. That was maybe that, and I think Stronger / Bad Romance, where I think the last two numbers that we fully locked in on. There was a time, yes, where it was maybe going to be a Prince medley. It was maybe going to be a, because initially Act 1 was going to be a boy band. U2 was talked about for a while. Act 1 was initially going to end with a boy band medley because in the movie there's the version of it where the boys are going to rescue Beverly. But there's like 3 endings in the movie, and we just made them all one. So there was a time when it was like, oh, it's just going to be a mashup of boy band songs instead of just one song. But then we thought having 2 mashups at the end of each act would be a bad idea. So we just went with, that's when we hit on Bohemian
And I think
Rhapsody.
wasn't the Prince medley going to be where Bohemian Rhapsody was? Because remember he brought in Bohemian, and I'm so glad that
well, Bohemian Rhapsody is like the best, so I'm glad you did.
Yeah, that's great.
I will say
a beast.
credit to Pablo, Ike, and John, because I fought to have Bohemian Rhapsody cut like from an early draft.
What?
I don't know why. I was just like, what is it? And then
You were like, I'm over it.
I'm so sorry, guys.
The trio of them and Greg and all came back to say no. I was absolutely wrong because it was one of the absolute best numbers I think has ever been performed in that space.
Yeah. I was so tired when that was done.
Bohemian Rhapsody.
Yeah,
and
we really did put you guys through it. We made you. We're like, we're gonna have you do 5 hours worth of plot, a whole shit ton of songs, all this choreography, go in under 2 hours.
We're all in such great cardiovascular shape by the end.
You're welcome.
Yeah.
I never was able to sing the end though. We would get back to the bar and we were like,
I mean, there were songs like that were cut in early stages. Like,
yeah, they were like, yeah.
John is a big Madonna fan. We tried to get some there.
I tried to have Beverly for a while, like before we cut the parents. Like Beverly was going to sing "Live to Tell" about her dad. We were going to maybe have them sing "Careless Whisper" between 2 of the battles. There was like a lot of stuff that like never made it to rehearsal. Like there definitely was a lot of ideas that were kicked around. But there was a lot of jokes that I was like, "How about this?" You guys were like, "Absolutely not." But that's collaboration, baby. We all make each other look better. If all of my ideas made it on the stage, we would not be here at this delightful Zoom reunion right now. So.
If you could play a role that wasn't the one that you played, which one would it be?
I'd play Bill. I would want to play Bill.
Well, you almost played every other character.
Yeah.
True.
At some point.
If I could sing high and do both of the splits, maybe I'd play it.
How's that?
Pennywise, you mean?
Yeah, Pennywise.
Oh yeah, that guy.
Oh yeah.
What's it called?
Oh, her. Yeah.
I as the director always wanted to play Aaron's role. I just thought that that was a cool track, because got to chill for the opening parts of it, and then everybody else was working their ass off for the first half of Act 1, and then you kind of cruise up there and rock out a couple of smooth tunes.
Because Andy Muschietti just forgot who Mike Hanlon was in the first movie, apparently. He was just like, oh, this guy? Oh.
How do we get him in here?
Those 3 performances I got to go on for Aaron were chef's kiss.
Yeah, sure shit.
I felt so bad.
No.
Working really hard.
Were there any lines that ended up in the show that you improvised, that you came up with in rehearsal and you were like, that's really funny, we should keep that?
I would say the whole show was improvised and there wasn't much writing.
Okay.
Yeah.
No,
there wasn't a need for a
Let's
writer.
talk about
the writer sucked.
Okay, right. I heard he was getting drunk on Diet Coke wine the whole rehearsal.
Traditionally at Rockwell, there's been like a history of improv that takes place because of the audience proximity to everybody. So you have to kind of be on your feet and think, what's going on around you, because there's waiters and all kinds of variables happening every night. So there is always a improv-ish feel to it, but I think throughout rehearsal, the cast, puts in their 2 cents with John, and they discuss things, and we discuss things, and we all, as a group, kind of, refine it, as John said, to work collaboratively and come up with the best idea of what's going to work. And I think the reason that people, like performing in these shows, and the reason people like coming to the shows and even watching them on the internet now, is that energy, that kind of collaboration where the characters and the actors are one and they're both present, so that there's a commentary on what's being performed as well. But it all starts with like a foundation of a good script and great music that Greg and John put together. And then everybody else who's crazy talented as well comes in and infuses their personalities into it.
There were a couple things that changed with an actual audience. I think most of the ad-libbing started before we had an audience, but like Gwen, for instance, putting her tampons down right next to people eating and saying, I'm going to put this right next to your brunch. Brunch. Those things obviously like came as a result of having people eating right next to her and her holding this giant box of tampons. So.
Yeah, and also like anytime you have like a new script, there's always a sense of like, I don't like the script is theoretical as opposed to like remounting a play. And so like, especially I remember for the second act, I was like, I wrote this in 72 hours. Most of these scenes have 7 people in them at once. You may contradict yourself within a page. You may not talk for 3 pages. Like, let me know. So I know like for myself, because there was a moment with Lana where you were like, hey, I say this at this part of the scene, and then later I say the complete opposite. And I was like, oh, thank you for bringing that up. I was not aware of that. You know what I mean? And the cast is so funny and so smart, and it would be so silly and absurd, as a writer, as a director, to not be like, oh, let's hear that joke you have. Let's have that idea you have, and let's see if we can make it work. So there were so many wonderful jokes that are part of the script that are from the actors or that are out of rehearsal process. So there are like a ton of those.
Yeah, piggybacking off of that. Oh, sorry. I was going to say my favorite thing is like those days that I did go on for Mike, I got to see John on the very back table making live edits of the script. Like if there was a joke that landed that night or something like that, and we're like, great, let's keep it. You would see him, and he had the little red text, and you'd see it all changing as it went along. Always so that watching. By the closing night, there was this beautiful finessed thing, so that whenever it decides to come back, fingers crossed, we can go back to that script. So shout out to you, John.
And I think Nathan and John were so great with. We would always come to them and be like, well, I'm thinking about trying this. Are you cool with that? And John would be like, okay, try it. And Nathan would be like, well, I'll let you know if I don't like it. So just do it. And if I don't like it, I'm going to let you know. And it was, so we got that chance to be free and just have fun with it. And some things definitely did not work. And then other things did. So, yeah.
You human, would you like to introduce yourself?
My name is Gregory Neighbors, and I'm the music director for the Umpo series. I do all the arrangements, and I help everyone sound better.
Rockwell musical parody series, you mean?
Yeah, Greg. Jesus, Greg.
It was Umpo up until this one. The Rockwell musical parody series. It's a thriving series at the moment.
Sort of piggybacking off of the last question, like, are there any like really iconic audience interactions that you've had?
Oh, what about Don't Touch Me? Lana,
Oh no.
Oh yeah. So in the story of my life, I always have to pick an audience member to be my mom, and I would pick from the same table, but who I picked would depend. Like I would kind of scope them out earlier in the song and be like, put the baby down. And I picked, most of the time, some people were like, I don't know what's happening, but they were usually good sports. But yeah, there was one woman who I was like, Mom, and she was like, don't touch me.
And that was pre-COVID.
And then I was like, Mom! Other mom. Yeah. And I believe, Aaron, was it your friend who was like, don't do this?
Doing this. Yeah, don't do this. Don't do this.
When Pennywise hugged her, right? Or when you brought her up. Yeah.
No, I think it was Pennywise.
Yeah, please don't do this.
Please don't do this.
Please don't do this.
Don't do this. Please don't do this.
It was during the balloon animal bit, right?
Yeah. It's such a hilarious way to say that, though. It's not like, oh no, or like, stop. It's like, don't do this. Don't do this.
Usually, in a lot of our shows, we get cast members from the original movie, and we get writers and we get directors showing up, and it's always kind of amazing to see them perceive the work. But for it, we just had a bunch of crazy people in the audience every night. So like, it was the Halloween show, so it just attracted the weirdos, you know. It's every night is an adventure. Every night is a question mark. We never know what's going to happen. Like it's and at almost any given time, a homeless person will walk into the show and steal our stuff.
Yeah,
almost any time.
Almost any given performance. And audience members are like, that's hilarious, that homeless joke with the violent homeless person attacking the musicians. And we're like, yeah, we love that joke.
Hilarious.
I think there was that time that Claire was sitting at the bar watching the show one day, and I think it was a brunch, and there was that super loud guy that was like screaming and like basically like guerrilla recording everything. It was really awesome. And then he hung out with all of us after the show at that Sunday brunch.
Wait,
it was amazing.
Yeah,
it was Claire. It was Claire's best friend. That's what we called it.
Yeah, and then there were a couple times when like I would say something about tampons, and you would hear one person go like, "Ew."
Yeah.
Oh, or the day that you had to say it to that super young kid.
Yeah.
Like, oh, it's okay. You'll learn this soon enough.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That one ended up being, but I was like, there's going to be, and it was women doing it. And I was like, I would need to like say pause and be like, who are you ladies that are so disgusted by tampons?
Missing the joke. Like, that's like the whole thing is that like everyone's so grossed out by it. And she's like, I'm just trying to live my life.
Somebody was not having it. And it then made me feel, I was like, oh, and that's the beginning of the show. And I was like, well, buckle up, lady. There's more where that came from.
That's always how it feels when you walk out. And like, I would usually give the pre-curtain speech, and anytime I look down and see like 2 6-year-olds at a table in front, I'm like, oh no.
Oh no.
I'm like, prepare for sex ed and for everything else.
Yep.
Why did your parents take you here? We don't know.
You have to learn about sex with animals and period.
Yeah. This is a safe space
It's a
for
part
us
of
to
life.
talk about that.
I think too that Greg left room in the script for like interaction, specifically like Pennywise, like we had. Yes, Greg and John.
We worked on the script together.
I wrote the script entirely by myself.
Yeah. He inserted some vamps for Garrett to do whatever shit.
Yeah. Like after a while, you get used to being like, the audience is going to make too much noise for us to actually continue the show. Let's just give them time to play. You know?
Yeah.
Which often end up being some of the best moments in the shows.
And those are the moments where I think the audience is kind of fooled into thinking the whole show has like improv like laced throughout, because those are moments that are given to the audience like to interact with the cast, that it gives the kind of feeling that that's happening throughout, even though the majority of the rest of it is extremely like staged and choreographed and musically set, and the script is set. But it gives the feeling of that, and as a performer as well, you get to experience that as well.
It's cool. It does feel like the whole thing is being like openly improv, but the truth is just what he said. Like 70% of the shows are music, and we're set in our choreo and we're set in our blocking, and unless we have a vamp going on, they're set in that time too. But just the live audience, I think, makes it always feel like you never know what's going to happen.
So the question that everybody wants to know the answer to is, like, pre-pandemic, was there actually like talks of like doing a revival or a cast recording?
Pablo.
Like to some degree before all this nonsense happened.
There are still talks.
I know. I just got a DM yesterday that was like, "You know why I'm here? Give me the cast album."
Oh, yeah, we all got that, right?
He said, "Look, boys, I know we all know why we're here."
And then it was like, please.
Pablo, would you care to answer that? You haven't said anything.
Yeah, I mean, the show is it's just solid show that I think it could live on past. We usually, a lot of the shows that we pick are, nostalgic shows, and this was one of the ones that were like a timely choice, where the choice that we made was, the movie's coming out. This is the perfect time to do our version of this. But the show stands it stands up past that time. It's just really funny. The music is timeless, and I think there are intentions of doing things with the show past last year, but we'll share that when we're ready.
Okay. I'll take
Girl, do you want to share that with us?
There are intentions. That doesn't mean it'll happen, but there are intentions.
We are talking about things, sure.
Yeah, like I still get questions on my original video. They're like, "When are we getting a cast recording?" I'm like, "How would I know? Like, why are you asking me?"
Tell them, Alina. Come on.
Are we?
The world.
Wow, I didn't know that.
These people know how to rip audio tracks off of YouTube videos. You can make your own bootleg cast recording. I'm not saying I have. I mean, I have. But if I can do it,
people have done that.
You can, yeah.
Like, what about like a studio, like full production record? I'm like,
I get it.
Well, and with these shows at the Rockwell, it's never been done before.
Right,
So
exactly.
it's like, it's not a normal thing where it's like, oh, we'll do
the infrastructure
Rockwell musical parody here and then also record something in tandem with it. This is the first time I feel like since I've been working there that I've even heard that request.
Yeah, there's never much of a demand before. There is a demand now, and like that's something that we've certainly looked into. In terms of like, obviously recording is not quite the same as performing something live in a bar. In terms of like rights and things like that, but we would love for the show to continue on in other lives, I guess, or in other formats.
I buy it on vinyl. I would buy it on cassette. Any form, I gosh.
Strategy of the show, and part of the reason why people enjoy it so much too, also complicates the issue of making a cast album, because John and Greg do such a good job of intertwining the songs with the dialogue with everything else that it feels very seamless. But it ends up being, if we did a cast album, it would be like 10-minute mashups, that carried on for almost, entire acts that had, dialogue throughout, that had, these intricate harmonies, but also, these amazing
scenes within them.
Yeah. So it becomes a thing where if you want a cast album, yes, but what are you asking?
Show. Yeah, you get the
like what? Yeah, because I mean, it would have to be more like opera style, where it has like the whole thing, like
the complete symphonic it. Right.
Yeah.
Complete symphonic it.
Not like Hamilton, but like how the whole thing is on the soundtrack.
Including the lady who hates tampons. Ew!
The thing that sucks about it is like the easier things to do are honestly like when we do Bohemian Rhapsody, we're literally doing spot on Bohemian Rhapsody. We are doing every harmony the same. But the ones that I would really want on a CD are like the Britney mashup. But those are like, rights-wise, those are the hardest ones to do, because there's like 10 songs in that Britney mashup. So it's like, it is just a bit of a puzzle figuring out like, what is it going to cost us to actually do these, and do we have to omit the cooler mashup medley stuff, but I think you're right. I think it would be kind of fun to just do the whole thing, maybe with dialogue, something like that.
Yeah, I mean, it might be fun to do a live if we were able to do that, although that might also be a logistical nightmare.
I mean, it's all YouTube already. No one's bugging us.
Yeah.
Also would not be the first time people bug us. Like we have been contacted in previous shows by rights owners and being like, hey, take our song out of your show. And we're like, we like Well, usually we're like, oh really, Mr. Lawyer? Do you happen to know this and this and this? And then when they respond and they're like, yes, we do, and we're like, cool, we'll take the song out.
This brunch will be the final performance of that song.
Yeah.
Actually, the League of Their Own, there was a song, we won't say which, but they were quite dogged about trying to sue us. It's the person went back and forth with Greg for so long that they actually left their job and and asked Greg to explain the situation to the next person in their job.
Wow. I take full credit for distracting the lawyer for 3 months.
Yeah. Wow, that's a really tight skirt you wore, Gregory.
Yeah, exactly. Can't delay. Mr. Attorney, I don't know how to file paperwork.
In the same vein, is there like a dream movie or TV show you would want to do like a Rockwell parody of?
There's a lot
not necessarily in the talks, but like,
like we've always pushed for Her is one of the ones we've really gone like head over heels. But like there's Death Becomes Her.
Oh yes.
Oh, that's fun.
That was one we've been like pitching for years that we never got to. We always wanted to do Goonies.
Yes.
Princess Bride was a big one, you know, like some really like great titles. I mean, we've also done. I love every title we've done. You know, everything we did. Like
every title, Greg. Really, every title.
Every title that Rockwell chose.
Okay.
Oh, I just got that.
I always thought Alien would be really fun.
Oh, that's a great one.
Although that high school kind of stole our thing. Like there was
I
a high
know.
school production of Alien. Now anything we do won't.
But they just did the script. Like I think that would be such a fun parody to do.
A lot of like titles people float around, but a lot of times how they end up getting picked is like the right moment, or like we'll be having drinks and have like a conversation and be like, oh my gosh, and sort of start planning a show out, and then we're like, okay, then we're gonna do this. We're not Pablo and I had, well, up until March, had tried to be a little bit more like deliberate and like wanting to announce a full season and stuff like that, and that didn't happen.
Yeah,
but
weren't you doing Riverdale next, like in the spring?
We were going to do Riverdale next, which John had also written the script for.
I would have been oh man.
Literally the week before we were supposed to start rehearsals.
You guys, I remember seeing the posters and I was like, nice, I'm so excited.
As soon as, or if the world ever opens again, we would go to that because the script is already written and John hasn't been paid for it because we haven't done the show.
So unless the Schmockwell up the block from Rockwell wants to pay me for my Riverdale script.
Yeah.
First.
But you just admitted to us that you write full shows in like 3 days, so it wasn't that much work.
That's right.
Yeah. It was actually worse because it was 5 hours. Riverdale was the entire first. That was like 12 hours into a 2-hour musical.
Yeah. John, I think put the most work ever into Riverdale.
Yep.
To have it shut down on like day one of rehearsals. And we read the script, and we will never see each other again.
Is there a number that like you weren't in the show, but you wish you had been?
Boys of Summer.
Boys of Summer.
Boys of Summer was awesome.
Aaron, you were in Boys of Summer.
I mean, there's only like two or three songs. There's only like 2 or 3 songs in it. Like almost every song was a group number in it.
Yeah.
Yeah, there are very few.
Stuff, but yeah.
Please Don't Go Girl even became a group number.
Yeah, I wish I was in Story of My Life.
Oh yeah, I wish you were in Story of My Life.
I was the only one not there because I was dead. So.
Oh no.
That was always a fun one.
I sang from the back a million volumes. I was like,
right.
Yeah. Greg pretty much turns every number into a group number because it's like, all right, we need some sweetening voices to come in.
Yeah, when you can't do all the production values of the actual songs, a good way to like make it effective is just to put cool harmonies in there, which is one of my favorite things to do anyway, and one of the audience's favorite things to do. And it lets our whole cast be involved even when they're not. And since Rockwell has like a really big problem with blocking vision because we have these 4 pillars that make 80% of the audience partial view. It's important. It's important that they at least have an actor standing on the wall 10 feet away that they can see.
And Greg, you always sing along too.
And I also always sing along as well. When half of my cast inevitably forgets their harmony, I take it over.
No. That'll work.
We still didn't get that.
We spent like 4 hours on those. Like, no. 6-part, whatever.
And then Greg's like, no!
It's not what you think it is. I swear, I'm like, I know this song very well, and this is not right.
Yeah, it's crazy. That song, it makes me, I already love Queen. I'm obsessed with them. But like actually trying to teach it to a group, you're like, geez, they did this with 4 people. It's impossible, you know?
I still love the harmony of Boys of Summer, the very end, that last note, still, every time I hear it, I just, the best.
So what was your favorite costume to wear in the show? Because I know, like, pretty much all you had, like, multiple costume changes as, like, smaller characters or, like, from Act 1, Act 2, and...
The balloon!
The balloon. Love the bare midriff. You love that bare midriff, EK. Don't act like you didn't.
Oh, sure. I love showing my toneless stomach.
Yeah, I liked wearing the balloon, but it was a problem child. Like, depending on which one, depending on where it was set, like, because they were just unisex sizes. Some days EK would get a faulty balloon, or I would get a faulty balloon, so one of us was like flat and sad. But our amazing stage manager Kelby, who is not here today, they did a really, really good job at like finessing it with tape and making sure the batteries were on and everything. So it was great. But yes, and surprisingly very comfortable, but hard to get out of and in.
I don't know what Janae is talking about. They were not remotely comfortable.
Sometimes the batteries wouldn't work, and somebody'd get out there to just like a dead balloon flopping down stage. The batteries
Still
are
doing
just like
that choreo.
Yeah, just an ugly red dress.
Yeah. 9 times out of 10 it was EK, but one of it.
So Janae and Lana, you two both had like 2 sort of main roles. You had like Eddie and Georgie and Stan and Henry. Which one was like, did you like playing more, do you think?
Lana, you want to go first, or do you want me to go first?
I loved Eddie. I always have a soft spot in my heart for Eddie. But Georgie was always like, the getting in and out of that freaking trench coat was always, it just was so, I never had much time to do it. That was always the quickest change, getting it on and off. And things were always like the Velcro was coming undone, or like the blood would like be pouring out before it was supposed to. Joys of live theater. So that always tickled me.
Or your wig would fly off.
My wig. I think that only happened to me. Wait, did that even
twice.
happen to me? Oh, did it? It happened in
one night.
Yeah.
We have pictures of yours and Japan.
Oh, yeah.
That one was great.
The hand would be backwards.
Yeah, the hand would be backwards. But yeah, I think I enjoyed playing Eddie the most. He's just fun.
He's the best.
Yeah, I have a really tough time deciding, because I did get to spend a lot of time with both Stan and Henry. And there are very special parts in the show that I love for different reasons with both of those characters. Like the Boys of Summer reprise, like Elastic Heart, like what else? Red Balloons, like just that whole scene going into it. Yeah, it's really, really tough to pick. And there's Garrett. Hi, baby.
Wow.
But yeah, it changes nightly, I think. Oh, hi, baby.
What an entrance.
I know, what an entrance, honestly. But yeah, it changed nightly. There were some days where I'm like, this is a Stan day. And then there were other days that I was like, yeah, I'm definitely like ready to walk out and sing Michael Jackson and like really bring it home and stuff like that. But yeah, it was 50-50. I have no favorate.
Garrett, just after the chat, would you like to introduce yourself and tell the audience what role you played?
But hi. What are we talking about? I don't really
got done doing a self-tape, and I have a face full of makeup. I'm so sorry. What is my what?
What's your name?
My name's Garrett. Hi.
Hi, Garrett. Hi.
Hi,
Garrett. Who are you in it?
Aggressive Pennywise, which felt more reflective of the actual book itself, which was actually a female Pennywise is in the book, but we did kind of a non-binary take, which I think we're all pretty proud of. Hello.
Hello.
Hell of an entrance here, Garrett.
Yeah, really great work.
I never failed to give it to you before. Oh God, this room looks so messy. Never mind.
I'm going to throw you into the middle of this. So, you brought up the book. So I want to ask a self-indulgent question, which is, have any of you read the book? Because it's my favorite book.
I've read it twice.
I have since read it.
But not before you wrote it?
Correct.
Okay.
So there's like, oh, if we do this again, we're going to change this part right here.
Very good.
John, have you had a chance to talk about our original process where the second movie was coming out like a week before we opened? You already talked about it.
We talked about that. Yeah, we had.
Oh, well, it's an interesting story, so let's move on.
But what was it like for you, Greg, just having to come up with arrangements, right?
Yeah.
I mean, that's what I do every time. Yeah, I only do the arrangements 3 days before I have to show up. So I'm like, then I just go into a coma. I stand by my work.
So is there a specific performance night that was your favorite?
I always like the dress rehearsals where we have like invited guests, because it's always the first live audience that we really get to see it in front of. So all of our instincts, all of our intuitions, all the rehearsal, all those things don't have life until there's people in the room. And so, and it's a friendly audience as well.
Yeah.
They are, our coworkers and our friends, and they're there to support us and support us only. So I think those audiences, for me, as a director and getting to watch response, like always, you either get affirmation of the stuff that you think is right, or you get a quick lesson in what's not working, and then you get to revamp those things in the next 24 hours before a paying audience comes.
The process is so fast that we often have no idea how good our show is until we're like putting it up in front of an audience. And like, it really is, it's a really intense process. We're making a musical from scratch in 2.5 weeks. So the actors, they have to be incredible at what they do. I'm giving them new songs like every day, and they're having to learn serious harmonies, and we're adjusting the script on them constantly. And then on top of that, we like throw 1 million costumes and props at them 4 hours before people are in the room, and often like a week later. and then on top of that, we have no idea what our audience is going to throw at us. So it's a real like whirlwind. You have to be a special type of performer to
You have to be a
succeed there.
masochist, I think.
Yeah.
A little bit.
And in this case, we had to see the movie because I was like, what is happening in Act 2? Just like doing it, and I was like, I have no idea. What is the joke?
In the movie, you don't get any better idea of what's happening. Because
And then you realize, oh, it doesn't matter.
And chapter 2 was for the people who liked the book and no one else. Like, it makes no sense if you have it right.
No. And they also, when the show starts, you get waiters thrown at you. So suddenly, for the first time, you have people taking orders, sometimes on the stage.
Or have you ever, I don't know, did it happen in this show where, I think it did, it was someone's birthday, and rather than waiting for intermission or the end of the show, they brought out like a cake with sparklers.
No.
Yes!
It was like,
Yes!
Like, this feels like Britney Spears, sure.
yeah, and you're like, maybe wait like 6 minutes and you'd be
right, like a full safety hazard. Probably like during the Britney mashup, and then you see redacted waiter walk out with the effing cupcake and sparkler being like, Happy birthday.
Wait, they were singing? It was like full?
That was a good time for
very
that.
Very lightly, yeah.
Well, you forgot about the show.
So weird.
Did we have the onstage table for it? We did, right?
No.
Oh, okay. I still got audience. I remember one performance. An audience member, this elderly woman, comes up to me in mid song. I am playing piano, and she's like, "The music's too loud," and I was like, I was like, are you crazy? I am performing right now. Like, you have to go talk to the sound person. She's like, who's the sound person? And I just shove her towards the sound booth. And then I see her while they're doing lighting cues and sound cues. This woman is over there yelling at them, and they're like, what are you talking to us for?
Oh,
and
you're at a show, man.
You're at a show, you know? And like, she came back to me at intermission. She was like, I just think the music's too loud. We paid to hear this stuff. And I'm like, ma'am, they are pop songs, and this is we are known
It's
here.
too loud. You're too old.
We are a rock. This is a rock concert somewhere in the middle.
You're
and
at the
everyone
Rockwell.
else is-
This is the
Yeah,
hippest music
exactly.
venue in all of Los Angeles.
Yeah, if you didn't know what you're coming through. Also, I'm sorry you can't hear Like a Virgin. You really need these lyrics, you know? Not this show, I think. I can't keep track.
No, not the show.
Yeah, the venue kind of emboldens people to behave in ways that they would never behave at a show. Like there were, John, were you there the night during, I think it was a Peter night during Scream when some company had their like holiday party or something, and they were full on having a full like we were interrupting their holiday party with our show. So they were just having their party talking to each other from across the room, and we were like, oh, I'm sorry if our show got in the way of your social.
John and
I was not there that night, but we did. Were you at when we did Home Alone? The night that was bought out for like a law firm.
Oh,
for their
worst
holiday
night
party.
of my life.
The worst night of Rockwell
And so we
history.
did the thing of like, so one of the actresses who was playing the mom, she felt like, oh, who's the head of the company? So she made a joke like, oh, still have a stick up your ass, like, what's his name? Like, head of the company? Thinking like, no, I could see a world in which that would kill, in which the audience would be like, haha, old man Levy's got a stick up his ass, and she called it out. That was not the case of this show. They were just
they turned
this
on
entire
us.
audience
They turned
was
on
like,
us.
they looked at us like, you guys invented cancer and we hate you. And
They
we had to
didn't turn
do
on
a
us.
2-hour show.
They didn't turn on us because they were never with us. Our
They
entire
weren't with us.
the entire
They
show
really
of
got
Home
worse.
Alone, like the running joke of Home Alone was, ha ha, let's laugh at wealthy white people with bad marriages. And like the whole audience was like,
Too close.
oh no,
Too close.
you're all wealthy white people with bad marriages.
Oh no.
They also demanded us to cut the show to 70 minutes the day before we did it. It was absurd. And the Rockwell people were like, well, they're all lawyers and they paid us a lot, so do it.
Which in retrospect, though, it's like, no one wants to be there, so let's just make it a 70-minute concert and get out of here. You guys want to talk to each other? That's fine.
John and I did The Devil Wears Prada. That was our first show together.
That's right.
There's the part where John played Miranda Priestley, and he says, "You're fat," and it's like this. The end of that was the line, right? And you're fat. It was like the end of this
Something like that.
really cutting, harsh monologue. There's like one serious moment amidst the rest that was not serious.
Lunacy, yeah.
And so I'm standing there like taking all this in, and it's quiet because I'm digesting the moment before I say my line, and somebody in the audience very loudly is like, "Oh, she's not fat. I mean, she's not skinny, but she's
Wow.
And I gave them a raise.
Anyway, my self-esteem is great.
Is that Diet Coke?
Well, wasn't one of the cool nights when you guys, I wasn't there, but you had the blackout for Stranger Things?
I wasn't there either.
The closing night of Stranger Things, the whole city block went blackout, and rather than stop the show, Greg played acoustically with the band, and the entire audience held up their cell phones and lit the stage with their flashlights.
No.
It was magic. It was one of our best performances.
Good audience.
Yeah.
It happened literally during
Better than the lawyer.
my number. It literally happened at the top of the final countdown.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're right. The most like hardcore rock song, and we're like,
Let's do an acoustic, introspective version of Final Countdown.
I just busted out like a recorder.
Do you guys have a favorite joke in the show? Just like one line. You're like, that is so funny every single time.
That's really hard.
Yeah.
Not a feather.
For me, it's the funniest. The funniest thing that always got me was Sterling playing with the hand.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
When he was like singing and he would start like sexually caressing
rubbing it.
the hand. And then he would use the hand on the audience member. That I don't think that happened in the beginning. It appeared at some point. You evolved into that at some point.
It evolved. We grew. Me and that arm. I loved the hepatitis blowjob joke. That cracked me up.
What
you did it.
Talking about?
What show are you?
What? Come on!
Hepatitis blowjob.
Isn't that what it was? It's like, I'll give you a blowjob for a nickel or whatever.
$3.99 balloons.
Yeah, hepatitis not involved.
I do like that's twice as
You were
expensive.
involved. Yeah, that was it. It's twice as expensive.
Yeah. And one of
brought it
my
up again later.
on the page, even before we ever did it, was "You son of a bitch, get over here." Happening over and over. I was like, that's a real John Flynn joke right there. If I ever saw
Such a good joke. Such a good
And then
joke.
my favorite physical joke was the end of "That's What Friends Are For" of the circle.
Oh, that was so
when
funny.
you're fixing the
That
wrong
was
way.
Mallory. Yeah.
That I will credit 100%
Legendary.
to our choreographer.
That was Mallory. 100%.
While she was setting the end of that number, walked over to me and goes, "I want to try something real stupid." And I literally turned
You're like, we don't have time for
Thank
you
you.
not to try
Yes.
something.
We don't have time for you not to try.
We don't have time to
They
see it.
tickle me so hard I'm bleeding is probably my favorite.
I think also one of my favorite jokes that I just enjoyed was Aaron, look down. Now look up here.
So good.
I just enjoyed that.
That whole
You didn't
monologue of
fall.
Aaron's got me every night.
No, and everything Richie says is hilarious when he was doing his little and he's like, yeah, saved
That's the
it.
instrument,
I was
yeah.
Saved it. Saved it was definitely a favorite.
He's like, Arcade is a cute boy. Okay. This kind of goes off of the waiter thing you guys were talking about because I looked at the playbill and I had a whole menu of it themed drinks. Did you get to try any of those?
That was Pablo's baby.
That was my baby. The drinks.
I like the name.
Fries. Yeah.
Penny
Did
fries.
someone eat the penny fries? They looked disgusting.
I tried them. And they were.
I ate a handful of those in the middle of Taylor Swift, in the middle of the Taylor Swift swimming action, and then
They were spicy.
and then I did it again when we were doing what's the song when everybody was singing and I had to walk around like Marilyn Monroe.
Believer.
During Believer, I sat
love
on
that.
Pablo's lap and ate a handful of them, and then started choking on it because I didn't realize it was flaming hot Cheetos.
Yeah.
Revan, you look so beautiful. I just have to point out that blue shirt and your eyes.
Yeah.
He's the hot one
Lighter.
now.
He's the hot
It's called a ring light.
Speaking of which, how itchy was that wig? How
Oh,
itchy
don't
was
even get me
that?
started.
Looks
I feel so much more compassion for people with long hair now because you have to interact. You have a microphone and the hair gets around everything and how you keep it out of your face. It's the craziest thing. I wish I had hair. I really do, but I don't want long hair. Yeah.
And that's the lesson.
That's a lesson.
Yeah.
Just a little bit, not too much.
Not too much.
So, question for Garrett. Did you ever actually learn how to make balloon animals that weren't eels or snakes? Or
I actually I know a couple because my great grandmother used to be a clown.
Oh wait, that's so cool.
What?
What
He
about
was a really scary
Hidden
information.
Have you guys not heard this story?
If I can, I don't want to get her into some weird legal issues. I don't know about that
The
part
FBI
of the
is
story.
listening.
I don't want to tell that part. But I am going to go to my
Redacted.
cousin. I'm going to go to my cousin's Instagram and show you what my grandma looked like as a clown, and it's actually absolutely horrifying.
So sketchy.
But to answer your question, yes, I do know how to make certain, I can make a dog, I can make a snake, I can make a giraffe, I can do
make a snake.
those things. Okay, this is what, oh God, it's horrible. this is what one of her students drew based off of our grandmother, but they're side by side.
I'm ready.
No.
Wow.
That drawing is nightmares.
Oh my
Yeah.
god.
Inspirational.
Great. Yeah.
I was meant to be an evil clown.
Truly.
Yeah.
I love that you always said it's a eel, not it's an eel. You said it's a eel.
Eel.
Yeah.
It's an eel.
Yeah, going back to the favorite jokes question, that was definitely one of
No,
them.
it was the
It's
guy
an eel. It's
The
an
guy's like, yeah, I'm
It's
afraid
an
of the
eel.
clouds. And he's like, why are you here then?
Yes.
My favorite thing to do is wear the Groucho Marx glasses and walk around like nothing was weird.
Yeah, sometimes Garrett would just be having a drink by the bar, like during the show, or sitting there, just casually.
I would.
Fortune
That was every
cookie.
I was usually hounding the bar for a whiskey.
Very, very important question. Ready or Benverly?
Ready.
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 Correct answer.
That seems to be what the people want.
True.
Yeah, but I vote ready as well.
Like, we love Benverly. They're great, but like, ready.
I'm gonna go on an outside pairing and go Henry and Pennywise.
Pennywise.
Henry one.
Anywhere else?
I like
Pennywise?
Bill
True
Estes
love.
Pennywise.
personally.
True love wins.
Mike and
Yeah.
True love wins.
Also, there's the whole community of people who are like in love with Pennywise, and that's a whole other backward. So
Some of them, there was a woman who
I mean,
came
look at
to
him.
like probably 8 shows, 8 or 9 performances, who would sit there with her Pennywise doll.
me.
Oh yeah.
Yes, I remember her. Oh my god.
She was
I
like,
get lots of social media comments about Pennywise all the time. I love it.
It's clearly your most iconic role ever. So just be my thoughts.
I'll argue with Teen Beach Movie too.
Yeah.
Second.
Last question. What was your favorite memory from the show?
We don't remember the show.
We've all been hit by dairy disease.
It goes back in.
Yeah.
You did a show.
Am I allowed to pick two? Can
Yeah.
can 2 of them share?
Sure.
My favorite was the night we invited our Rockwell family to come watch before we had a general audience. I think we're all really nervous because we're tackling a lot, and there was it was just like a really joyful night. And then I would have to string together every time we bowed because I was always going last, and so I always got to watch everyone. And so that I used to get really emotional, but I would never tell anybody because if I did, I would have cried.
Aw.
Felt that way about the bows too, because we'd run out and we'd do the like,
Yeah.
Yeah.
and it always was so. I felt so giddy. Like every show, that's the word I have to use to describe it. I just always, by the end of it, just had this crazy ass smile. I was so happy, and it was so fun every night.
A lot of my favorite memories were actually off stage. Like this cast specifically, and I think it still rings true to today. Like somebody's always texting us in the group chat, but like not excessively like some group chats are. Won't name any names, redacted. But it's so nice that when you see any of the people's names in this group pop up on your phone, it just warms your heart a little bit. But also the after Saturday night shows, most of the time I feel like a lot of us would hang out and just like sit at a table, enjoy a drink, do a photo booth moment or whatever. And then after Sunday brunches, because all of us were starving. So Garrett would get his Nashville wings, Nashville hot wings. And EK would get his
Bloody Marys.
Yes. Oh my gosh. And all of the micheladas. My heartburn is significantly better now. But yeah, it was always those days because we would always like this. Yes, that picture. That was after a Saturday night, if I remember correctly. But just those moments that we got to share together off stage and kind of reflect over the weekend of like the silly things that happened. Or like, I think most of you guys that were there when my parents came. And my dad got wasted with David Haverty, our videographer. But yeah, those days were special, and that is the end of my answer.
For me, I mean, I don't know if it's a specific moment, but like being that this was the first show that Pablo and I had produced together, kind of like what I guess when we realized like we really had a show and it was really like it was all of the shows that we've done at Rockwell have been like great and special in their own way, but it for me anyway, and I think also generally sort of distinguishes itself as being one of our best. And like honestly, Alina, when you posted your video and then we started getting this online following, which has been so and continues to be so special, like that as we moved, I guess, into like late October or whatever, like I don't know, like I presume at some moment we're like, wow, this is really something. And I guess it would be that for me, as vague as that is. But like, yeah, when we really have a show and it's really, really good.
Yeah, because like I made that video randomly. Like Issa was the one who like told me about the musical. She was like, "Hey, you need to check this out. Like it's awesome." And so I just like made that.
Issa.
Yeah, I love that girl. And so then and that video got really popular. Everyone's like, "What is this? This is the best thing ever." And I'm like, "Yes."
You guys were a huge part of what made this so special for all of us.
Yeah, all the artwork.
I think that was.
I can't draw for shit. Everyone's artwork was so good.
No, the artwork was, but even just the love, because again, look at all of her buttons. We're all merch.
You're on merch.
The show really was one of the most fully formed and best shows I'd ever done at Rockwell. So by itself already, and we didn't know that when we opened, because you never know. That invited dress night, I've never had one of those nights where I was like, we have a great show. I've always been like, oh my God, we're insane. And this one, once we realized what we had, I was like, oh, this is a very, very good show across the board. And that was enough. But then to have love from like people on the internet, that had never happened before.
Never.
So super special. And I think I'll go with EK on like that moment of realizing that we had like fans was a super special memory. But I also just loved when we got downstairs and the lights go down and the balloon magic trick happens with the balloon go. And I always just would get very excited because I'm like, the audience has no idea. They have no idea what's about to happen. And I know that the show is good. It's not kind of like, oh, it's good to some people, but not everybody. I would just get so excited for the audience for what they were about to see.
Because it is good. Like that was like going into a parody musical. I'm like, all right, this is gonna be funny. Like I'm gonna laugh for like an hour. Like it's gonna be cheesy. And I'm like, why is this actually great? Like why is that? Why am I good?
How did this happen?
Before we leave that topic, Gwen's husband is an amazing performer himself, who's performed at the Rockwell several times and on Broadway, and is just a tremendous talent. But he's also a magician. And so he came during our rehearsal process and contributed so much of like the kind of magic of the show. Literally, the magic. He worked with Garrett on like the balloon trick. The
end of Act One.
He did the opening balloon trick. He did the stepping through the painting. There were so many like little things that he created that made the show magic. And took it from just being what was normally presented and elevated it once again. And I think to what EK was saying is that all those elements, you hope come together and the pot that on the other side of it an audience connects with. And doing live theater, you hope that audience is there with you, every night. And then to have this show jump from a live performance to the internet and then continue to grow. And the fact that we're now having this conversation a year later and there's still enthusiasm not only amongst the cast, but people to want the show to continue. And so I think to try to nail down one moment of where we've been for me is kind of hard, because I'm looking forward to seeing where we go, because I think there's the culmination of everybody that had to do with this show was really special, and like there was a very collaborative effort happening, and so I look forward to continuing to get to see what happens now that like theater has to kind of evolve, moving forward. And I think this is an opportunity that, I think the It show could participate in some way.
Are you announcing a formal revival?
Did you say cast album? Or?
But if you ever bring it back, I'm committed. I want to go see it in person. Like I'll because like we found out about it kind of late into the process last year. I'm like, there is no way I'm getting a plane to LA. Like that is not gonna happen. But like if it happens again, I'll plan.
I'll say it was particularly special. What is Julia's Instagram name? I can't remember.
Silver Night.
I know who you're talking. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yes. So Julia convinced her poor parents to drive up from San Diego.
Yeah.
You got to see the show. So that was incredible. Just the and there was a girl who flew from Louisiana
with her mom.
I was just about to look her up.
Her birthday. I can't remember.
El Gao is her Instagram, but I can't remember her name.
But another amazing, like Spubs and
yes, I love that.
A couple people. That's from Julia. Yes. So like when getting like people sent us stuff, so getting to open those together as a group in the dressing room was like one of my favorite memories. Also.
Yeah. No, the video of you guys opening it is like I wasn't like I don't even draw. My art wasn't even in it, and I was still like crying. I'm like, this is so cute. Like.
I was. Yeah. We're all very touched.
Yeah.
Another really wonderful part of the process is that I think because like sometimes when you're doing projects and everyone's like, this is going to be the best thing. And then people's egos get in the way. But all of us were like, we just want to make a good show. We don't know the outcome of this, but we all just want to work hard and like make something that people can like leave having a great time and know that we feel fulfilled doing it. And I don't think I literally cannot think of one point in the rehearsal process where anybody caught an attitude, had a negative vibe, or made anything like hard for anybody. It seemed like everybody was always on board, wanted to stay much longer than we were getting paid for, just because we were all like, I don't care how long I'm here and I don't care how much money like the money is irrelevant. I want to put the time into making a great product. And that, and I feel like the cause of that is a great deal of the reason why we're all here is because everybody took that extra bit of time to make something really wonderful.
And shout out to Claire and Justin and Pablo.
Yes.
Like just smashed it every time and kept the quality at the same level that it was. Like it without much rehearsal, that's always the way it's like
it's incredible.
There's not enough time and there's not enough anything, but they go in and they kick ass and it's awesome.
We say Janaea.
Oh, Janaea.
And Janaea, yeah.
And Janaea, who saved my life on several occasions.
I got you, boo. I'll go on for Mike anytime.
Thank you.
Oh yeah, one of my favorite times was I got to come back when Justin went on for me, so I actually got to watch the whole show.
Oh wow.
Audience. And there was like so much I never got to see because I was like running off or doing whatever. So I got to see like the full picture and I loved it. That was definitely my favorite.
Well, and that was the thing that I loved as well, because with Claire going on as Stan Henry while I was going on as Mike, I got to watch her do the show.
Yeah.
And we had two of the most magical swings on this planet. Like Claire and Justin were insane, and getting to watch their very specific different takes on all of these characters just made the show that much more magical, because it still felt new, it still felt fresh, and it didn't take away from anything. If anything, the rest of us got to play more. And that's kind of what you want out of a show, and especially the swing. So they can just come in, you can do the show and also still have fun and still feel like you're able to create, instead of, making sure you're on the script so that the swing can be like, okay, I'm making sure I'm saying the right line so that we can continue to move the show forward. They were really good at playing off of everyone on top of making their own choices. And then we got to play back. So
yeah, I feel like if you're going on as Pennywise and you're not the Pennywise that everybody knew thought they were going to be seeing, like there's so much pressure. There's definitely the part of you that's like, well, I'm just going to try to do my best. But like Justin did such a good job of not trying to do Garrett's Pennywise. He was like, no, I'm going to play to my specific strengths and do my version of it. And he was great. It was just like so special. And so they're just the talent and the commitment and
And the bravery, right?
Brave, yeah, it's brave for sure.
Gosh.
Yeah.
Can't imagine.
Yeah, what did he always say? Oh, during the balloon trick, when he would find out what the name of the person was, like, "Oh, your name's Mike. That's very sexy."
Yeah, Mike, that's a sexy name.
It's a sexy name.
Oh, I was just going to say, for me, it's sort of repeating what people said before. As far as like a special moment, again, I also don't have like one particular moment, but I do remember in rehearsals, like especially like the week before, the week we were leading up to opening. You know, I mean, at that point, my work was mostly done, so it was sort of easier for me to just sort of sit there. But being in the rehearsal room, I remember feeling like, oh, you could feel like a nervousness or a tension, but it was all because everyone was working so hard. And there was nothing, there was no negativity. There was no one thinking like, I'm working hard because someone else isn't doing their job or because I don't like what someone else was doing. It was like everyone like across the board was bringing their A game and everyone wanted to meet everyone else's A game. And you could feel that sort of, to me, it was like, oh, this is like the good tension or like the tension that we want of everyone being like, yes, we're all working hard for a great goal, not because we have to cover for someone else. And it just felt like such a unit and everyone really supporting each other. And for me, I felt so grateful that, you know, again, like my work was mostly done at that point, but I felt so grateful that there were all these people who were working so hard to bring this show to life. And it was really sweet and wonderful and something that I think about and it brings me a lot of joy.
I really miss doing the Bohemian Rhapsody number and the Britney medley.
Yeah.
Those were so much fun.
The two big battle sequences.
Yeah.
The boots
I would
you were wearing, like out of control. The things you were doing in those shoes scare it. I can't even.
The cartwheel, which I did not realize happened.
Yeah, I didn't know you did it either.
It was a roundoff, bitch.
It's a roundoff, which lands much harder, which so I can hear. It's so loud.
But I would hear.
But it's so natural for him. He just did it like it was nothing.
Like the audience, I would hear the audience react, and I didn't know that he was doing that. I was like, oh, they just must have really loved that part or something. And then
you were like, I really nailed my exit. The audience is loving it.
That's so true. What Steve was saying about seeing things that he didn't know were happening, like that happened all the time. I never once got to see the red balloons because I was always doing a change, but like I'd see pictures and I'd go, oh my God, that looks amazing. I wish I could see this. There's so many moments like that I'd see later. I'd see video and I'd be like, Garrett's doing a roundoff. I had no idea.
Yeah, or like that video that surfaced of you doing the slow-mo during Any Way You Want It, which I was never really aware that you guys were doing that because I was having a scene with Sterling. But then I saw Lana's like super sexy, like Cabbage Patch slow-mo. And I was like, well, I'd be watching that. Forget the scene. That's the show.
I wanted to say just thank you for continuing to support the show and everybody in it.
Yeah.
And anybody that does watch this, that we're entirely grateful and insanely thankful for your support, and it's been nothing but a pleasure, and we look forward to getting to look into the future and possibly find another reason to come together.
Let's do it again.
Yeah, absolutely.
Not the last you'll be seeing of us.
No.
Well, yeah, and just like again, another thank you to like the fans, the It musical group chat that you guys had, like the OGs who are like, which is still around, and that's amazing. Like I know that like Kat will message me every once in a while for. Now it's mostly because of Michael as opposed to because of it, but like, oh my God, I love Zoe's, and I'm like, me too. But yeah, just stuff like that. And I literally just, I think, got like a Stan drawing like 3 weeks ago. And so it's still happening. It's still coming. And like there's a bunch of like, I don't know if you guys go down the TikTok rabbit hole of like,
oh my gosh, there's a lot on TikTok.
Yeah, the It musical tag on TikTok. Like there are people that are cosplaying like our characters specifically. And it's magical, and I could just cry every time I see it.
It's sweet.
Wow.
It is.
Yeah, so it still lives on, and that's what makes this show so special, and it's because of you guys. So thank you, big thank you.
Yeah, thank you guys. Thank you, Alina.
Yeah, well, Thank you and you're welcome from me and everybody else. I speak on behalf of everyone. But yeah, I'm so excited we got to do this. This is so fun.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Love you guys.
Watch The Rising Hawk. It's on VOD.
Yeah. Right, watch The Rising Hawk on VOD.
The Rising Hawk.
Rising Hawk, Nathan's movie.
What's it on?
It's on Apple, iTunes, Amazon, Vudu, Fandango, pretty much anywhere you can get it.
All places.
OnlyFans.
Yeah.
Oh, and just watch Aaron's commercial where he's like,
and follow
oh, there it is. So yeah.
Yeah.
Oh my God, I know that hand and that face.
Oh.
Is there
Oh, yeah.
also tune in tomorrow to Pixel Playhouse's Twitch for Pablo.
Oh, right.
Yes.
His baby swinging with the mouse is being considered for a Grammy. So go out there and
Swinging with the mouse.
Yeah. Woo! Yeah, you'll see some familiar faces from the
including Garrett.
Yes, mostly including Garrett.
And Pablo.
Whose face not be familiar because he's not dressed as a clown.
Or is he?
He's not a clown all the time.
I don't know. Maybe
I do Pennywise TikTok.
Is anybody else doing anything? Plug your stuff.
Yeah.
What else does everybody have?
I have a podcast, Two Old Queens. Me and talk about how gay movies are.
You have merch, dude.
We have merch too. If you go to TeePublic, Two Old Queens, you can get an Eat Shit Funny Girl onesie. You can get a phone case that says "You're not the movie cruising." Face masks. It's all there.
I love it.
And then they're also with the Pixel Playhouse family. It's their sister company, After Hours Theater Company. They're doing Hocus Potions, a magical musical cocktail experience.
Oh, really?
Running every Friday and Saturday. I think it's like through Vimeo, but it's all on the online thing.
Nice.
Check out A Gay in the Life on YouTube, where we interview different
Gay in the
people
Life
from around the world about their life experiences. We try and raise awareness for things we can do to help bring up and support our community, how you can be a better ally, how we can hopefully start changing some laws so you're not going to be murdered if you're gay, how we can hopefully make people's lives better as a community.
Yeah.
Love it.
Oh yeah, vote. Links will be in the description.
Vote.
Register
Just plug voting. For anyone who's old enough.
Yeah, for anyone who's old enough, which won't be too many in this fandom for some reason.
Right.
But
we can tell them to make sure their families
tell
vote.
your parents and your older friends to vote.
Unless they're going to vote for
Then don't vote. Vote for the people we like.
Bye.
I love y'all.
Love you guys.
We did it.
So yeah, thank you guys so much for watching. Thank you guys, the cast and crew of the It Musical, for doing this with me. I had so much fun. I hope you are satisfied with this finished product here. Thank you so much for creating the musical. And yeah, so excited to see what you guys get up to in the future. Hope you're all doing well. Links to all of their stuff that they plugged in their social medias down in the description, as well as my Instagram and TikTok is edward.spaghedward. My merch and my website and all that stuff will be linked in the description, as well as links to register to vote and links for things you can help with Black Lives Matter. And yeah, this has been a really great dinner. Thanks for coming over. I want a cool background.
I'm in the Overlook Hotel.
Yeah, goals. Hold on, let me see what I've got. Oh yes. Oh yes. With my mug, I'm ready.
I have the Neibolt house that I can email you guys and you can use it.
Hello.
Hi, friendly faces.
Hey, everybody.
We're messing around with the virtual backdrops.
We love to see it. I went full character for this.
Linnea! I'm going. Hi, gay. Trash.
Oh, John, look at that.
What's up, losers?
Wow.
Hello. How exciting.
John, even more gorgeous in person.
John, I think you just won the Zoom reunion.
But all right, well, good to see you guys.
I look sexy, push back.
Oh, happy Mean Girls Day. Anyway, thank you guys so much for doing this with me. I'm so excited.
Thanks for having us.
Yeah. Happy anniversary almost of the musical. That's wild.
I know.
Like,
crazy.
Where's Nathan going?
He went to the Neibolt house.
Always gonna run away.
He's getting a toothless blowjob from a homeless
Yeah,
guy.
he went to the Neibolt house.
I knew
There's
it.
no getting him back.
Whoever
This is appropriate.
whoever comes in next, you should just jump out.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Hi.
Let's all act like we don't see him.
Yeah. Hi.
If he doesn't hear, we'll be like, what are you talking about?
Oh, yes.
I hate it.
Thanks, I hate it.
Thank you for the background, Gwen.
You're welcome. It's working well. It's just a regular house, I
Oh,
guess.
yeah.
Oh,
Oh,
no.
no. Is that Stan? Disembodied Stan? Is that where his body went?
I know. Let me find a. Are you coming to the IT reunion?
Pablo, ever since he got nominated for a Grammy, he's really changed.
He didn't get.
Yeah,
I mean,
you've changed since
understood.
Since the pre-nominee. That was old as time.
You look like a square. Wrong.
I'm hiding.
You're doing a great
Someone
job.
put on too much quarantine weight. That's right.
Felt that. Cheers.
Oh,
there we go. Hello.
Nathan says hello and he wishes he could be here.
Yeah.
What bullshit.
No.
Oh, wow. That really adds something, yes. 10 out of 10.
Wrong franchise.
Yeah, where's your Pennywise mask?
We don't have one.
I mean, I'd say that as if, like, that's a normal thing to own. Like, I don't have one either, so.
It is a normal thing to own in this group.
I think everyone should have a Pennywise mask, just
Pablo's
to greet your guests with.
I see a little silhouette of a man. Yeah, let's test those harmonies, everybody.
Oh, yeah, please.
It came on in the radio the other
Did we
day,
have
and
them
I was
before?
like, oh, I'm going to sing my part. And the nose came, and I fell apart. I was like, no.
No, I hear Just Give Me a Reason on the radio all the time, and I'm like, it's following me. Like, it just knows. It just wants me to cry.
Oh yeah, today what was it today that I heard? It was a believer. It was
Story of my life with Victoria somewhere the other day, and I never hear that, and it just Ben for my birthday made me a Stephen King blanket.
Oh my gosh, jealous? That's so
For
cool.
nightmares.
Yeah, for my nightmares.
Give you nightmares.
Look, it disappears. Something's wrong with our background.
Yeah, the background's like, once you put your hand up, it's like, no. Oh my goodness.
I'm going to let Bear answer any questions that are directed toward me.
What was it like producing The Rising Hawk, Bear?
Yeah,
Tell us about
release
that.
day.
Oh, thank you so much.
Yes.
It was a lot of hard work, and I'm the most beautiful and also the best. Bye.
Correct. Thank you.
That does sound like Nathan.
Bear, we can watch that on Amazon Prime, correct?
Yes, you can.
Isn't it on like everything now?
Yes, it is.
Whatever streaming platforms are sold.
You get to see Aaron's commercial constantly because it's
all
like Hulu
I
break.
think I've seen it like twice.
No,
I don't have commercials on my Hulu, but
It's
He
not
looks
on
like
mine.
this.
Yeah.
Oh, she bougie. Wow.
This is Aaron.
Can't relate.
Alina, let me see your mug.
Oh, it's wonky Pennywise.
Yeah.
I found it in a store for like $5. I'm like, that's everything. Why does he look like that? Like,
It looks like like a Pennywise wearing cats.
yes. Yeah, that's it, actually. I can see it.
You're right over
There we go. Bravo.
And Aaron, you have beautiful floof.
Yeah.
Great.
Yeah, 10 out of 10.
what about my flute?
10 flukes out of 10.
Better than it's
Oh yeah, it's the best.
Yeah.
But
You
your
win.
goose looks great, Trevin.
Your poops looks good.
I
Your
see
head
my
poops.
flutes all the time.
Oh.